saying how excited we are about these shows coming up at the Midsumma Festival, and I was wondering if you could start off by telling us a little bit about the show that you're involved with.
Yeah, so obviously I'm extremely excited as well. The show that I'm involved with is called Run, and it is a show that it's one of those ones that's hard to describe, but it's one of those like coming of age queer stories that kind of explores the boundaries and the barriers between, religion and, what it is like to love for the first time, what it is like to lose, that kind of thing.
So how did you become involved with Run?
Yeah, so I was working with the producer on a previous production in Midsumma in 2020. We did the campaign, which was about the decriminalisation of homosexuality in Tasmania. And the producer approached me with the script and was like, hey, do you want to have a read of this and let me know what you think? I really think you'd enjoy it. And I just read it and fell in love with it. It's such a good script.
What really stood out to you when you first sat down and read that script?
The two things that stood out to me was, the first thing that I love is that it's a coming-of-age story without being a coming-out story.
Yeah.
I think that so many things and so much queer content is about that coming-out process, which is so important to have that content, and it's so important that that process is visible. But what I love about this is that, we've got a religious text. Oh, sorry, it's a show that involves religion quite heavily, and yet the fact that he's gay is not even a question. So that's one of the things I really love about it. And the other thing I love is there's just such an emotional heart to it. Stephen Lauderton has really managed to capture the emotion in what's going on and that journey to understanding the emotions.
So tell us a little bit about how you've gone into getting into this character. Like you said, religion is a very big part of this character's life. Have you had to go and do a lot of research and things like that?
Yeah, and I'm still in the process of doing all that research of, just learning more. I come from a religious family, but not a Jewish family. So learning about, the differences, learning about the different, the progressive versus the conservative and what that means and where does this character fit in that kind of progressive conservative spectrum, and then learning about the customs and the traditions and a lot of there's a fairly big focus on Shabbat, and so that just learning about what that is and how that all kind of happens it's really been fascinating, and also just helped enlighten so much on the character and the journey that he's going through.
And has exploring the character also taken you on an emotional journey as well? How does that feel for you, getting a feel for this character?
Look, the first time I read this script, I was lying in the bath and I read it and I was crying. Like, there's just something about the journey that he goes on that is so heartbreaking, but there's just something so genuinely emotional about it. So just being able to kind of go on that journey and connect and kind of go, through all that and live that love and loss and all of that is something that I really like. Does that answer your question there?
Yeah, it does, definitely. And for audience listeners out there at the moment who are thinking about coming along to see the show, what kind of genre is it? Is it drama? Are there some little bits of comedy in there, or is it just a major drama?
Oh, there's bits of comedy, as with, I think, not all the best dramas, but there's a lot of dramas that have those comedy moments to break it up, and they kind of take you through drama and comedy and then some scene setting, and then it kind of goes on that journey. So this is very much one of them where, you start with something light and then it shifts and it moves and it molds, and you kind of have a moment of laughter and then followed by a moment of realization, and it's just that throughout the whole show until you reach that ultimate kind of climax in a way.
That's amazing. Now, you've worked with the director-producer Gavin Roach before. Tell us a little bit about what Gavin's like to work with.
Gavin's great to work with. He's very much about finding what works for us as actors. So I know with me, I kind of have a bit of a roadmap of, okay, I'm going to walk here on that line, stand over there on that line, that helps me to then not stress about it. So he's been very good at going, okay, well, let's work on that. Let's make that work for you so that works for you. But I know with other actors, don't like that, so he doesn't do that with them. So he's been very good at kind of going, well, what do you need for this show? And then, accommodating that and really working with me as an actor, which is something that I really like. So often we work, and, especially I come from a music theatre background, so often we work in the trying to fit a mould.
Yep.
Whereas with Gavin, it's been very much about how can we make this work for you? What do you need to be at your best? Which is really, really rewarding to work with.
Definitely. Now, for all the listeners out there, if you want to head along and check out Run, it's got 2 different dates and time periods that it's running for. First of all, it's running from Tuesday the 1st to Saturday the 5th of February at 8 p.m. each night at the Bluestone Church Art Space in Hyde Street, Footscray. And then from the 8th to the 12th of February, 8:30 each night, it's running at the Gasworks Arts Park in Graham Street, Albert Park. If you want to grab tickets, the tickets are available from www.midsumma.org.au, and we'll put all of those links up there for everybody that wants to check them out as well and find out how to grab tickets. Mate, what would you like to say to all of our listeners out there before they go and grab tickets for this amazing show?
I think what I'd really like to say is give it a chance to kind of, there's so many shows in Midsumma that are very traditional, easygoing shows. This one doesn't read on paper like it's going to be an easygoing, light-hearted show. But I think that's what makes it so special. I think it's a show that has such a heart to it. I think it's a show that we will take you on that journey and, you will leave feeling uplifted in a way, but also sad, but also just feeling that kind of whole spectrum of emotion. And I think that's what makes this show special. And I think if you come along to that, you'll really appreciate that and enjoy it.
Definitely. And for all the listeners out there, again, like I said, the dates and times, there's 2 periods of dates and times that the show is running. So we'll put all of those dates up there for everybody, but tickets can be purchased from www.midsumma.org.au. Ben, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we want to wish you all the best of luck with